This is Radio Safalta. You're listening to Safalta Talkies. The program is where we talk with a lot of foreigners having a different expertise in different fields. We've been talking to a lot of foreigners in our studio lately. On that note, today we have Chris. Is it right, Chris?
It's correct, yes.
From Germany. He used to be a software engineer in his country, and now he is practicing yoga. He is doing yoga for 10 years and teaching yoga all around the world, let's say. I mean, wherever he goes, he makes sure he teaches yoga to the needy, and it's almost been 2 years that he's teaching yoga, and I must say it's quite a long time. He has been practicing or teaching that yoga here in Lakeside Pema Densling Monastery. Yes. So we will be talking on so many aspects of the yoga today, and we also will talking about his personal and professional things. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome you on our show, Mr. Chris.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
So I'm very interested in knowing your full name. Christoph.
Yes.
And how do you end with the surname? Christoph what?
Bauer. Yeah, very
okay.
German name.
Okay. So it helps us to know. And Christoph, again, I'd like to welcome you, and we'll be talking on so many subjects here. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with how are you?
Very good.
How have you been here in Nepal?
Very happy. I love Pokhara. I love Nepal. I love the mountains and the clear water and the clear sky. I've been paragliding 2 days ago. First time in my life.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm smiling all day long.
So you're clear about what you are doing, right? Clearly.
Yes, absolutely. And you can feel it, right?
Yes, you can feel it. I can feel it from the joy within. Yes. When did you come here?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Came from India with the bus.
In a bus?
Yes.
Okay. So is it your first time, should I say?
Yes, first time in Nepal.
In Nepal, first time. Pokhara?
First time as well.
First time, yes. Obviously.
Yes.
What do you mean? For how long have you been wanting to come Nepal? How did you know about Nepal means?
Oh wow! So I think I always wanted to come to Nepal. My father was here. He lived in Kathmandu for a while, and he showed me old pictures about it. And I love the mountains. I love trekking and feeling very insignificant alongside these big masses of rocks. So I think the idea to come here was always there, but I've been traveling for the last 3 years, and I don't make plans, so this is all coming, I don't know, fluidly. And Nepal was, I didn't even hear of Pokhara before. It was a friend in Dharamshala who told me about this place, and he said, you will pretty like it here, and this is the reason.
You liked it now?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's through your dad, you knew Nepal.
Yes, I mean, and from television.
Televisions, yeah, it's always there. It's always there.
Yeah.
But some spark must be there. Yes,
absolutely.
And you are a fire, right? And when you have a spark, it's up to you to burn that fire within.
Yes.
Now I'm very interested in knowing what you do here, right? I mean, before that, let me ask you a few questions about which part of Germany you belong to.
I was born in the south, in the Black Forest, but I lived a long time in Hamburg as well, in the north of Germany.
Hamburg, it's cold?
It's a beautiful city, but it can be pretty cold. It's very rainy. I think we have more rainy days than sunny days in the city, so you can imagine how that feels.
So there's obviously a difference in the environment, temperature, climate, weather.
Yes.
In your country.
And I think even that you can feel it within the people somehow. People
are
different. People don't spend so much time outdoors, for example. It's a different life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll talk about that later on. Mm-hmm. We will still be in that line. Now let's talk what you do here, right? So,
yes.
As I came knowing you, you are in the Pema Densling.
Yeah, I don't
Monastery?
know how to pronounce this correctly.
Yeah,
we call ourselves Holy Garden
it's
Yoga.
It's like that. Okay, so what do you do there? I heard it's all about Ashtanga Yoga.
Yes, so we have different forms of yoga we teach there, but we specialize on Ashtanga Yoga as well. Since I'm coming just back from India, I was in Mysore, and Mysore is where Ashtanga Yoga was invented about 100 years ago. So I'm now available to teach the primary and intermediate series of Ashtanga Yoga, and since there are not many teachers being able to do that, we thought, why not in Pokhara? And I'm assisting the brothers of Holy Garden Yoga inside the Ma Dechenling monastery. And we have 3 classes every day. We also have sound healing meditation. So yeah, it's very nice. So I'm learning, they are learning. It's very good.
So you are practicing yourself and teaching at the same time?
Yes, normally my practice is very early in the morning, and then the first class I teach is at 7:30. So I try to do my practice every day. Not Sunday. Sunday is day off, and the moon days. Full moon is not allowed to. In Ashtanga Yoga, you would rest. For moon days, also when women have the period.
Menstruation period.
Exactly. So you would not train, and the same for Sunday. Your body needs some rest as well.
Yes, that's a rest day.
Yes.
So, what is Holy Garden Yoga then? Is it a place where you perform the yoga?
Yes, so it used to be in Busy Bee Cafe, but since it's very loud there and very busy, and it's a small shala, we try to move all the yoga and all the activities of meditation up to the monastery, where it's very quiet. We have a beautiful view over the lake.
Obviously.
And the name is Holy Garden Yoga.
Okay, so this yoga thing, I mean, so what we know about is yoga is actually practiced in the East. It's not the thing of the West. Now it has become the thing of the West.
Yes.
It's obvious thing, but before, West was unknown about it, and it if we talk in a spiritual way, the whole East is a spiritual land, and it's always good for practicing yoga. Where did you learn this thing, man?
So you're absolutely right. Obviously, it's coming from the East. It was once embedded in big Hinduism. It was part of it. Nowadays, it's not considered religious anymore, especially in India. It's and the Western world obviously teaches it and practices it a little bit different, with another. It's less spiritual. It's more body focused, I would say.
Body focus, yes.
Most of the time, it's changing as well. I learned it in Thailand, which actually is teaching a very Western style. Because there's so many Western people, so many Western teachers. So this was my first experience 2 years ago, and I also learned in India. So having the real original feeling of it, and then you combine and you make your own style out of it. In Ashtanga it's a bit different because it's very precise, even the teaching, so you're a little bit bound to this tradition, which I really like. Gives you a good background, strong background.
So is yoga very flexible? I mean, it's flexible.
Yes, but as we like to say, we are creating more flexibility in the mind, not so much in the body. Because the body is pretty easy to create flexibility. If we train for a certain time, we do our asanas, and the focus is more in the mind, what's happening, and the training, concentration, being good with yourself, breathing through difficult situations, and all this good stuff that will help you in your normal life, becoming a better person and being more healthy, perhaps more gentle with yourself and with others.
That's true, because the East part practices yoga for the mind and body, but the Western they do it in their own way.
Yes.
They do it for the body.
I mean,
most of the body, yes?
Yes, absolutely. Just to add to that, I mean, we shall not forget that yoga in the beginning there was no asanas. Yoga was practice of meditation and of kriyas, of cleansing rituals. And then bit by bit people realized that we had a hard time sitting upright for many hours meditating, and then they realized we need some asanas to train the body to get stronger. And after Patanjali, he actually counts only one asana, which is Padmasana, the lotus seat, which is very interesting.
Very interesting. I'll talk about it later.
Sure, please.
Yes. So how did you find this yoga? I mean, how were you interested in yoga? How come?
Good question. So I can perhaps talk about my lifestyle I had before.
Sure.
I was a software engineer. I had money and I had a very good apartment and all these things. You think that you need to be happy, but I was very, very unhappy. I was depressed. I was very unhealthy. I was eating wrong. I was taking drugs to compensate all the stress. So I was looking outside for redemption or for finding myself, and there was nothing, obviously.
Nothing, yeah.
You can just augment the doses, but it doesn't lead to anything. And then I always knew that yoga was something I like. I felt good afterwards. My mind was much more quiet. I could deal with my emotions much better. And when I was in Thailand and there was no real continuation in my last job, I didn't want to go back into this madness. which made me so ill. So then I started practicing yoga every day, and this really changed a lot of things. And then I realized that this would be part of my life, and I want to teach it actually. So there.
I mean, you knew about yoga.
Yes.
But you were not in touch that much.
Not in touch at all. I used it as a physical practice to relieve some anger or stress, and it was not like a practice I did every day.
Stress management or anger management course, I mean.
Yes. I didn't even know about pranayama, about breathing control, breathing techniques. I knew nothing at this stage, yeah.
So it's a very interesting story, man.
Thank you, yeah.
So it's from the Thailand that you started learning.
Yes.
And you felt the importance of the yoga, right?
Yeah, I felt the impact right away. Yeah, and the changes, the positive changes. It's really, really crazy. I need to write a book about that one day, perhaps.
Wow, I'd love to read that book. I mean, it's obviously a good book. What about yoga? I mean, there are a lot of people writing a lot of books about yoga.
Yes.
And Swami Vivekananda is a guy who wrote quite awesome books about yoga, and karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, Raja Yoga. His books are preferred, some high level books with more knowledge. So your book might be helpful on that note.
No pressure.
Yeah. So what is yoga in your view? What yoga is that?
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I mean, many people after yoga session, they feel good and they feel much better than after a regular fitness session, right? It's different. But what is so different? And this question, many people answer it with perhaps with prana that flows in your body, or with other spiritual elements they believe in. I, for myself, think that especially the breathing, the correct breathing, and the focus on the breath as well is where we get the most benefits from. And this is why we call it, why it's called kind of a meditation as well. So the breathing plus the drishti, so the focused gaze, our focus point where we look at, calms our mind tremendously. If you combine the correct asana with the correct breathing and with the correct drishti where we look at, this makes the power.
You mean the correct mindset?
Yeah, well, the mindset gets influenced right away. You don't even have a choice. Even if you go into a yoga lesson and you're a little bit angry or excited or agitated, you will calm down right away. You have no chance. Because your body wants to breathe, and yeah. So this combination of the mind, the drishti, and the impact on the nervous system we can create with the breath is very, very powerful.
So your life just goes to the other level, yeah?
Yeah, or you could also say that your current level is much, much easier, right? Some people struggle in life. Everything is difficult, even walking upstairs.
Yeah, that's what.
And yeah, I agree. Then you're on the next level.
Yeah,
you feel light.
I want to add you on that. Because I also read a lot of books. I mean, a lot of books about scriptures, books about the scriptures and all these things. So what I came across is yoga is a union. Yes,
exactly.
It's a union of the outward and inward. It's the union of the negative and positive. It's the union of the yin and yang. It's the union of the you and the universe.
Yes.
It is the union of you and the nature. So whenever there's a union, there's yoga. I'm just adding up to your view, right?
Yes.
It's not a different view. It cannot be different view from yours view. I'm just adding. You are totally good, correct.
And I agree totally.
Yes, that's what. It's the union of everything.
Yes.
Which is not you and which is again you. I think in that way, right?
Yes.
So it helps to find which is not you and which is you.
Yes, and it gives you a purpose in life, or a feeling of being part of something, right? Giving you a lot of support.
Obviously.
And yeah, being a humanist.
No, yoga has become a very fancy word these days. You know that, right?
Yes.
And it's the Western. I'm not blaming them for that, but it's the foreigners, Westerners. They are very much, aware of that thing. Yes. And we started and we're not aware of that thing. Even we know it's very good. We know it's very good. I mean, if you do yoga, wake up early in the morning, it's very good. Doing yoga, it's very good. But still, we don't practice it. That's a different story here.
Mm-hmm.
So, how important is yoga in your life then?
But for me, it's very important. As I said,
and how can it be helpful?
Well, it can be helpful on so many levels. I mean, obviously on the physical level you get much more strength and flexibility, which in combination is very beautiful. You have a big range of motion. Life becomes very easy. The second part is the breath. Breath gets very, very good, and you get much more attention, much more attentive with the breath. And obviously for me, dealing with my emotions, which can be overwhelming and can lead to addictions, or can lead to running away from your emotions, and really to go through and to deal with them. Yoga really helps me in this regard a lot.
Okay, so any type of yoga you are doing is helping you in different ways, right?
Yes, exactly.
How many types of yogas are there? I mean, there are a lot of. How many types you practice, or what are the main types of yoga?
Yes, so this is a big kind of confusion, because on the one hand, people have the feeling that there is a lot of different yoga styles. On the other hand, there are actually not that many.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if you boil it down to, I would always start to ask: is it a fixed series, or is it an open class where we can be creative? Fixed series would be something like Ashtanga, Bikram, or Shivananda Yoga from Rishikesh, for example. If we have an open series, then we call it Hatha Yoga, for example, right? Or Vinyasa Flow, or Yin Yoga. The second question I always ask: how prominent is the breath? How important is the breath? How much the breath is in focus? For example, especially in Ashtanga Yoga, the breath is very much in focus. It's actually the most important thing during the whole practice. It's different in other traditions. And then the third question I ask is: how long do you hold an asana? So in some practices, in some Hatha or in Vinyasa Flow, you would hold it a little bit shorter. In Yin Yoga, you hold it for several minutes sometimes. So, yeah. And you are right. I mean, for every aspect, if you want to train more power or strength, you would do some Ashtanga, for example. If you want to train flexibility, you go to Hatha, which also creates a balance in your harmonic system, which is very nice. And then we have obviously on the other side like Yin Yoga, where you are very slow, you stretch your connective tissue. And then we go to things like Kundalini Yoga, where which is much more a meditative practice with a lot of bandhas and chakras and bandhas, exactly. So you work really with the prana and with the Kundalini energy, obviously, which is in your root chakra, and you want to awaken it and use it. And
prana,
samana,
udana.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there is a practice for everyone in yoga, and for every age, and for any disability, and it's really beautiful. I love it.
So it's the approach is unlimited for everyone, right?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
That's very good. So we talked about a lot of types of yoga, right? What are your best?
Yeah.
What is your?
Yes.
You're very correct that there is always a confusion between different types of yoga. If we ask certain teachers, yes, let's say guru, they tell these are the certain types of yoga. If you go to other school of thoughts, they go to. So there are a lot of school of thoughts here.
Yes.
And they practice on their own way, right?
Yeah.
It's always a confusion. Even I looked into some, books and all. They define it in different ways. But among all these things, what are your best and what do you practice?
Yes, okay. I just wanted to add that this confusion goes even further if you talk about a single asana, because different traditions will tell you different things about how to do it, and then there's a lot of discussion going on, right?
Yeah,
so it's very interesting.
Always.
Always. So obviously I'm teaching and training as well the normal Hatha style, the classical Indian Hatha style, where you hold postures longer and you really try to relax in the posture. I myself do Yin Yoga as well when I want to relax in the evening. But primarily it's Ashtanga Yoga for me, and coming from there, Vinyasa Flow or Vinyasa Yoga, which means connecting the breathing to the movement. So we would do one asana, one movement with one inhalation or exhalation, and we flow through our practice. So all this idea of Vinyasa Yoga comes from Ashtanga, from the connection. Vin, I think the word is Vin and then Asa, which means to place in a sacred way, and they're talking about the breath here.
So you mean to say whatever yogas are interconnected to each other?
Yeah, for
or
sure.
they're individual, independent of each other?
No, they are completely connected, because we are always doing the same asanas anyway. We just do it in a different way, like in a different speed, on a different breathing, or different depth or duration, right?
Okay.
And the focus changes then. For example, if you do Paschimottanasana, the forward stretch, then it's very different if you do it in an Ashtanga or in Yin Yoga,
Obviously,
even if it's the same movement.
I get it now. Okay.
Good.
It's same that consciousness and that alertness, but the difference is in asanas and breathing, right?
Exactly. And perhaps I can add that, so if we talk about yin and yang, you can see that yang is very active, very creates a lot of heat, is masculine, often people say, right?
Yes.
So you can see in yoga, often Ashtanga Yoga would be a yang practice because it's very, very powerful, right? And on the other hand, you have yin, which would be probably yin yoga, for example. But even in one class, you can combine these two, which my classes, I like to call them sometimes yin-yang yoga or yang-yin yoga, because you start with a yang element where you flow, where you create a lot of energy and heat, and then later you go into a much more relaxed state and you work on your flexibility. And this is a style that I personally very like, and that is taught a lot worldwide as well. So the combination of all the worlds.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about Ashtanga, Hatha, Vinyasa, and let's say Vikram Yoga, Kundalini Yoga. Let's talk about Ashtanga Yoga. Right? Is it a single yoga or is it a combination of different postures?
Yes, so very good question. So Ashtanga Yoga is we have 6 series, and each series is a fixed sequence of asanas.
I mean, you start with 1 and 6 series, you have to complete it together, then it becomes Ashtanga?
No, you start with the primary series, and only if you master this series, which can take many, many years, then you will be allowed by your guru to proceed to the next one. So not many people on this planet actually do the advanced series. And it's not really important.
Maybe
where
you are willing to be one?
Yeah, it's not a competition, right? I'm practicing the intermediate series, but even in the primary series, there are some asanas that are so difficult for me that I will be training on them all my life, perhaps. And every day you feel different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's not an issue. And to explain to you why a fixed series is so beautiful, it's because you really feel the differences in your body every day. One day it can be very, very hard, and the next day it's very easy, even if it's the same sequence, and you realize how your body changes. And this is the beauty of the fixed series. So Ashtanga was invented about 100 years ago in Mysore, India, from Patabi Joyce, Sri Patabi Joyce. And,
yes. Respect.
Yes,
Always,
I do.
Always.
I learned from. Yeah. So. And I love the sequence, even if I didn't like sequences before, like fixed sequences, I found them a little bit boring because it's so repetitive. But if you look at it closely, the asanas build on each other, and the sequence is made in a certain way that is very, very convenient, very, very beautiful, and gets your body ready for the more advanced positions.
Okay, so I've also heard a lot of things about Hatha Yoga, yes? Mm-hmm. You told me, each and every yoga are different, but they are interconnected to each other, right? So suppose if I'm doing Hatha Yoga, how long will it take for me, or what are the things that I need to know about Hatha Yoga?
What do you mean, how long will it take for you?
I mean, to get the duration
of the asana? Or?
Yes, to learn the asanas.
To learn. I mean, you can learn very quickly. Most of the asanas are not very complicated from the perspective of the body, from the physical perspective, but you will feel that over time asanas change. Some asanas that you didn't like in the beginning or that were hard become very easy, become your most favorite because your body changes. So I don't think you need a lot of time. If you have a good class, you will feel the benefits in your first class right away.
It's all about your interest.
Yes, and
you need to cultivate that interest.
You need to be able to look inside, and the breath really helps with that. Yeah. And just to add, I mean, historically we would call Hatha Yoga any form of physical practice, because we will talk about this later, I think, about the 8 limbs of Patanjali.
I will ask that.
Okay, the first 4 limbs actually represent Hatha Yoga, and the 4 last limbs represent Raja Yoga. So more the spiritual part of it, right? The part that you think about, the meditation. And this is why every practice of yoga in a physical way we can call Hatha Yoga more or less.
That's what I've been hearing about. Whoever practices yoga, they are into Hatha Yoga. Yes. I've found less people doing Ashtanga Yoga.
Yeah, it's not that popular because it's very, very physical, and normally you have about 80% women in yoga. In Ashtanga, it's the other way around. You have about 80% men, which is very interesting. But I just wanted to say that some people think from the outside it looks very competitive and very strong and hard, but it's actually not. It's a very introverted practice where subtle. The only thing you need to worry about is yourself and your breathing. And if you have a good teacher, he will not create a lot of competition or anything, right? That's not what we want. We want to only be dealing with ourselves and then going through the emotions as we practice and becoming stronger and more relaxed.
Who is your guru?
Oh wow! So
because I need to ask that now.
yeah. So, but the problem is that names. So, to be completely honest, I don't believe so much in the guruism that is established in India so much. I mean, I had beautiful teachers, but it's. I think my view on this is a bit different. And I find it sometimes
view on the guru.
Now I'm the guru, right? But I find it sometimes even a bit
at least
dangerous.
You learn, right? So someone taught you.
Someone
taught you. I mean,
I was in Mysore. I was 1 month learning with Rajesh. I don't even know his family name, to be honest. I can look it up later. But he was about 50-year-old Indian man, and he was amazing because I love seeing, especially older people, where you don't expect, and then they do the Ashtanga primary series in a perfect manner. I really love that. And in Thailand, to be honest, I would not really call them gurus. They were all very young teachers, and
they were friends. I mean, kind of friends to you.
Yeah. I mean, they were not really much older than me, so it was there was a different feeling.
I mean, they are not guru. They are not friends. Who are they? There's something you need to address them. Something, man.
It was a good training because we learned about many different styles. But going to Mysore and having kind of focus on Ashtanga was very beautiful.
Okay, so I should say you started from Thailand and you means had that enlightenment, let's say, I mean, within yourself, right?
Yes.
In Mysore. Do you
no,
know the meaning of guru?
Yes, it actually just means teacher, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's different, man. It's different. I mean, it's made up of 2 words. It's gu and ru. Gu means darkness and ru means expeller.
Oh.
And it's the expeller of the darkness.
Through the knowledge.
Yeah, through the knowledge.
Yes,
I mean, see, this universe really consists of darkness. It's only the tingle of light that we see. Yes? So, most of it's all the darkness.
Yes.
And not only in the universe, we also are always in the darkness. We are just trying to find out the things and come to the light. And who helps us? Guru. It means the expeller of the darkness. So that he brings us up to the light of this world, physical world,
yes,
and your inner world, the self within. See, this is the meaning of the guru.
You see, listening to radio always was good and entertaining and also educative. Thank you, I learned something.
Yeah, it's always good.
No, but I totally agree, obviously.
Yes.
But what I wanted to shed a light on is what happens these last years with so many gurus actually, let's say, misleading people or using their power for...
I totally agree on that.
So people be careful, but obviously good gurus, follow their lead. And I mean, we are building on the shoulders of giants, right? Of people who already have this knowledge, and then we can become smarter, we can pass it on, and
that's what. Sometimes when you are in a spiritual path, I mean, yoga is also a kind of a spiritual path, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Where you are trying to know yourself in a better way, trying to move to the next level. So there may be some difficulties, or I mean, there may be some unknown things, because most of the things are unknown in life. There are a few things that we know, and let's say majority of the
know,
yes, majority of things are unknown. So even when I have a guru, let's say, so whenever I read a lot, I mean scriptures, and when I feel confused, I just ask his help, so that he tells what really is the fact. He's not biased about his thinking. Guru is someone who tells you the fact and keeps you, searching for the more.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, keep you. Yeah.
Yeah, suppose you went to the guru with a question, you will find that answer. Again, he will put you in such a situation where you again search for the other things. So it's always, the eternal search of the self.
Yes.
I mean, whatever you say. Let's take it like that, okay?
Yeah, totally.
And now we will jump into types of yoga. Sometimes they say types of yoga, sometimes they say paths of yoga, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Hatha, Vinyasa, Iyengar, Ashtanga, Kundalini, Bikram, Jivana Mukti. In yoga, they are all types. And again, I knew different kind of yoga again, like Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. Mm-hmm. How are these things related? First, I'll ask you about the Raja Yoga, all these things. But how are these related? I mean, are they same, or they are the branches, or?
So the idea, first of all, I would put Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga.
Yes,
I would
Jnana Yoga.
Yes, sorry for my pronunciation of
this one. Sure.
I would put them a level higher. It's the idea of how we can approach yoga, not with asanas, but with it's a different thing, right? It can be asanas, obviously, but karma yoga is is a yoga of action, of selfless action. For example, if I clean the yard, or even of my house, whatever, and I do it not that so people pay me or people say what a good job. I just do it because I want to. This is a selfless action. This is karma yoga.
Okay.
So karma yoga, everybody can practice this, right? It's about the selfless action, and you will see things coming back to you. Obviously, good things.
This is the most important yoga that we need today.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, karma yoga.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then obviously we have bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of devotion to a guru, for example, or to a god, or to a higher consciousness, or to the universe, whatever you would call it. And,
higher power, divinity.
Exactly. And then looking about, it's about submission a little bit as well. So yeah, it's more, let's say from a Western perspective, I would say it's a more religious approach, right?
Okay,
a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, everything has its place here, and then obviously we have
Raja Yoga.
Raja Yoga is again an umbrella term for all of these, which means just Raja Yoga is actually Raja meaning king.
It's on the top.
Yeah, it's on the top. It's actually the four advanced limbs of Patanjali's tree. So it's about the meditation and ultimately samadhi.
Okay.
So this is Raja. We have a
Jnana Yoga.
Jnana Yoga,
Jnana
which is obviously about knowledge. And here we talk about expanding your knowledge to know more about. To learn more about the backgrounds, and through knowledge.
Okay. Yes, you are listening to Radio Safalta 103.4. You can always listen to us through our website, radiosafalta.com. We also have our official Facebook page on the same name, Radio Safalta. We have applications. You can download it from different platforms. Today we are talking to Christoph from Germany, and it's being very healthy talk here. I mean, in so many levels, we are trying to know a lot of things from his perspective, because he's practicing, not only practicing, he's also teaching yoga here, and he's planning to write a book, and he's also planning to be Ashtanga Yoga expert. So again, a lot of things, and hope you're listening to us and you're with us. Chris, now let's go to Patanjali Yoga, right?
Yeah.
Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. It's yoga. Patanjali is the sage who started yoga 5,000 years ago. So can you put some light on that?
Yes, absolutely. So Patanjali we see as the father of the more modern yoga, right?
Yes.
Who really saw that yoga is more than only the asanas, and he developed this the idea of the path of the 8 limbs, where asana is only one limb of these 8. Do you want to go more into detail here?
Sure.
Yeah, So, the interesting part is that even if you start with asana and you enter yoga through the asana parts, through the physical practice, you can still feel the power of it or feel the beauty of it and how it helps you, and then you will probably discover the other parts as well.
So there are 8 limbs of yoga, right?
Yes.
As discovered, or let's say whatever, invented or discovered, whatever, he found it, right?
Yeah,
How does it start, and where does it end?
Yes,
first?
So it starts with yamas and niyamas. The yamas are about how we treat the others, right? So we have certain rules, for example, ahimsa, non-violence, which is also concerning ourselves. For example, if we use drugs, we harm ourselves. So this is actually not allowed. So
again needed in this world today.
Exactly. So yamas would be the first thing where you really train, or you really accept how to treat the others. You become a better human being, right?
It's all about practicing truth,
exactly. Non-violence. I mean, it's most or less, it's very similar to what the Christianity says, or even other religions, right? It's like, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Violence, don't steal, don't.
At some point at some level, every religion is on the same level.
Yeah, they all want good, so let's see how they implement it. But so this is the others, and then niyama is obviously how I treat myself.
Rules. Niyam means rules.
Yeah, exactly.
In
yeah.
Sanskrit, in Nepali also.
Exactly, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, niyam means rules.
Beautiful. So you don't even need to learn that, yeah. So this is how you treat yourself, right?
What happens in the niyama? I mean, what do you do?
Well, it's about, for example, the cleanliness that you... Stuff like this, right? Not only the physical cleanliness, but also about your mind. So it's about yourself, how you treat yourself. You need to be gentle.
So is it a self-study? Study of the self coming to some extent?
You could say that, for sure. Because you need to analyze first where your anger comes from, or where all your emotions come from, to be able to kind of work against them, yeah.
So you're surrendering, kind of?
Yes, kind of. And you get beaten up, I guess.
So what is that? We talk about yama, niyama, and...
Now we have asana.
Asana, right?
Asana, yes.
Asana is what? Pose.
This is the posture, the physical practice that everybody knows. Most of the people only know this part of yoga.
That's what. They know only two parts.
Yes.
Asana and the other one. Pranayama, right?
Pranayama is the fourth, exactly. So it's a word of prana.
Prana, yes.
And which means life force or breath.
Life vital forces.
Exactly. And then we have two different translations. Often it's translated with control. Control of your breath, of your life force, but it actually means expansion as well. So we want to expand the prana through the breath.
So in yoga, you mean when you are in a posture,
Yes.
that's asana,
Yes.
and you are taking a breath.
Well, you can do pranayama when you're doing asana at the same time, but you also can do pranayama separated, which, for example, Kapalabhati, like stronger pranayama techniques.
Nadi Suddhi, Nara Yoga.
Yes, then you would do them on yourself. You would probably, I think in Kundalini sometimes you do pranayama Kapalabhati in advanced postures, which can get very, very, very difficult. But it's about the breathing. Obviously, in Ashtanga Yoga, we use an pranayama as well called Ujjayi breath, and we use it throughout the whole practice, even in the asanas.
So you are saying breathing technique is one of the essential part of the.
Absolutely, for me, it changed completely everything. Even my practice, as I said in Ashtanga, if your teacher or if your guru sees you breathing too quickly, and sees that you're being challenged with the breath and you cannot follow, he will stop you and he will say, first, if you can breathe properly in this position, you're allowed to complete it.
Okay, that's the baseline.
That's the baseline, because it's a representation of our state, of our mind. It's a state of mind, of our nervous system.
I mean, is it controlling the breath or being conscious about the breath?
It's really controlling the breath. When you meditate, you want to be conscious about your breath in some meditation traditions where you concentrate on the breath. But here we really control it. So we really inhale, exhale in different patterns, or we hold the breath in Kumbhaka, for example. So it's a really technique.
I have seen a lot of people doing Buddha's path, right? They are in the Buddha's path, and they are doing Vipassana, and they are doing a lot of things. Is Buddha's yoga all about breathing then?
Wow, what a question. So I know Vipassana, I have done it.
You've done it, Vipassana?
Yeah.
Isn't it about the breath?
It is, absolutely. I mean, it depends. There's different traditions even inside Vipassana. It's
interesting, man. You've done Vipassana.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, you would in the tradition I learned about it was about 2 years ago.
Where did you do?
In Thailand.
Okay, Thailand.
And we concentrated on the place above or underneath the nostrils, above the mouth, and we needed to really concentrate and try to feel the flow of breath flowing over this. And I mean, all the meditation techniques are kind of just focusing on a certain thing, right? To be able to just observe the thoughts and the feelings coming in. Yeah, you know. So yeah. It's all about breath again.
Because even I do certain kind of yoga. I mean, I do Sambhavi Mahamudra. There are certain with a different name again. See, same kind of things with the different names. And someone they discover it and they put a different name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you are also a human being. I am also a human being. We have a different name, right? We are from different country, but basically we think alike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah.
So what basically I do is all about, I become very conscious about the breath, because a normal guy, when he breathes 18 to 20 times. I mean, it's 40 times, 36 to 40 times.
Yeah.
But
and very shallow.
And a practitioner, a yogi, let's say, who practices pranayama, they do only 10 to 12 times.
Exactly.
So just being conscious of the breath, the whole life changes, man.
There is actually a beautiful proverb that is very suited now. Some people believe that when you breathe slowly, so the count of your breath is limited. So if you breathe very slowly, we become much older. This is a belief that is beautiful. I like that a lot.
Okay, so it's your breath telling your age now.
It's more or less slowing down your metabolism, which yogis have always tried to do to be more relaxed. I mean, if we look at it closely, the only thing we can really control in this world is not many things. We can control how we breathe, and we can perhaps control at what we look with the drishti, and perhaps what we eat, obviously. And all these, if we do this wisely, then we can change a lot of things. And we can accept all the other things that we cannot change, right? And becoming more wise about that.
Even in the breath, there are it's a vital force. I mean, there's a prana, apana,
exactly.
Udana, Samana, Vyana, different levels, right? So I just want people to know that even when you're conscious about the breath, without the posture, just be conscious about the breath.
Exactly.
So whatever I tell is take a deep breath 3 times. It'll obviously help you.
Yeah.
Won't it help you? Yes, it'll help you, man.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
It's always going to help you. So what after then pranayama? Is it pratyahara? What is pratyahara?
This is the most difficult thing for me. It's the withdrawal of senses. So, for example, if I'm sitting in Kathmandu at a busy corner and I want to meditate, all the influences, all the different sounds and noises and views and smells, I don't want to be affected. I want to be able to sit there and meditate without having all these
outward influence must not be there.
Yeah, so this is the withdrawal of senses, looking inside. It's the first step we need to be able to do before we go into the next one, which is dharana, which is contemplation or deep concentration, right? So here we go one step further, and we try to keep our mind concentrated on one thing for a very long time. Our mind has often the tendency to hop away and to think about other things, procrastination.
You are here, but mind is all elsewhere, right?
Place, right? it's thinking about
all around.
later.
Yes.
So we try to bring it back every time, and in dharana, so we try to really focus, concentrate.
Okay. So I want to add here to your vast knowledge that I basically believe there are 3 parts. I mean, there is body, there is mind, and there's energy, right?
Yeah.
So if there's alignment in all those things, your body is here, your mind is here, then your energies are obviously here.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens, let's say when you're staying in a class, your body will be there, but your mind will not be here. So energies are not...
Absolutely. And
they're not playing their part, yes?
Yeah.
So it happens. And after pratyahara, after withdrawal of your senses,
yes.
What is next?
We had it already, dharana.
Oh, dharana.
It was a concentration.
It's focus.
Yeah, it's a focus, exactly.
Focusing in what then?
In one thing. It can be anything. It could be like an animal or something that is in front of you or something that you have in your mind, but it's ready to stay within this one object or this one thought for many, many hours, for example.
So it's not focusing on the breath now. It's focusing on different thing.
Yeah. It can be. It could be the breath as well. To be honest, you can choose. I mean, some people do walking meditation, for example. They concentrate on their steps or something like that. So it can be anything.
So what after dharana? I mean,
dhyana.
Okay.
Or you pronounce it differently? I don't know.
Dhyana.
I think dhyana. Okay, good.
It's meditation, right?
I'm still learning. It is a meditation, exactly. So this would be where we really are comfortable sitting, and we can observe. We are not part of our emotions anymore, but we are observants. And this
you're just the self now.
Exactly. And this is very, very powerful. I mean, to be honest, this is very difficult for most of people, for me as well, to be just sitting still for many, many hours and to try to get this emptiness in your head. So I consider this one of the most difficult things. Even if you have never done Vipassana, do it. I would consider this one of the most difficult things for many human beings.
I'm planning.
Especially today, where we are so used to mobile phones and all this stuff. This is crazy. I mean, you're not even allowed to have eye contact. There is no drawings, no yoga, for example. Yoga is not allowed in Vipassana normally.
Okay, so you're just being the self there.
Yes. You really have to deal with your own emotions.
And I heard you cannot talk also.
Exactly, there's no talking, not even eye contact, nothing.
So when you are not able to talk, you are left with only a single person, yourself. To talk with, right?
Yeah.
So you talk about a lot of
and you get
things.
crazy very quickly, I guess.
Yes. But crazy for good, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. You
Crazy
have to go through this, and then you feel much more powerful when you come out of this, because you know you can deal with yourself.
Obviously, man, you are already in the 7th stage.
Yes.
You have to be step by step going up and coming up to the dhyana. After that, it's
Samadhi, the enlightenment. This is where Samadhi is actually not really a state that we can accomplish. It's more where we can, but only for a certain amount of time. So some gurus, if you read some gurus, they have had a glimpse of a Samadhi, of this feeling of being completely inside the universal consciousness, right? Being part of it. And losing yourself, actually, losing your ego completely. You're not important anymore. You're just part of it all. And this feeling, I mean, I had some friends telling me about their Samadhi experiences, and it was very powerful. You barely cannot believe it, to be honest. It's crazy. I have not had it yet.
Oh,
I have never had.
There are a lot of gurus who have been to Samadhi.
And
they won't come back.
Yes.
I mean, they go happily. It's like people, when they go away from this world, there's always a sadness, right? They cry.
But we walk into a light at the end, so there's something.
You know where you are going.
Yeah, I think so.
And with a very blissfulness.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Very happiness. All the world problems are gone, because it's not important anymore. Like all the matter is gone. Actually, it's more or less only.
So out of these 8 limbs,
yes.
Can we practice it alone, or do we need to do it in a sequence? I mean, let's say I'm only trying to do pranayama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should I pranayama is in the 4th? Yes. So should I be covering all those 3 before I do 4th?
You can start with pranayama, no problem. And many people nowadays start with asana, as we established before. But I think,
but without yama and niyama, will asana?
But they will come at a later stage. Many people who start doing yoga get much more aware of their body, right? And then they start changing, and then they start changing their diet, and then they start changing that. Yeah, they go back, and they go back to the yamas and niyamas.
Okay.
And for me, this is totally okay. If somebody wants to take this path and comes through the asanas and then discovers how much actually bigger yoga is and how it can help you, then it's totally fine. Then they come and then they will do the yamas and niyamas later. So but when you are good with yamas and niyamas before and asanas, then pranayama will be much easier.
Yeah.
You can learn it much quicker and have much more benefits.
Because
much
understanding is always there, right?
Yeah.
So you've been practicing all those 8s, or you have reached till where?
Well, as I said, for me, the difficult is very pratyahara. I mean, I'm meditating, but the pratyahara part is always difficult. So the withdrawal of senses. I'm very easily influenced by sound around me.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on that, and I will probably.
That's why the meditators, they seek for the very calm and cool place.
Exactly. But normally, if you are kind of enlightened, then you'll be able to meditate everywhere.
Everywhere, right? That's what
in Delhi or in Kathmandu.
in the traffic jam, or wherever. In a metal concert.
Sit there, like a cow in India, like in the traffic jam.
Oh, wow.
They know how they do it.
Even here sometimes.
Yeah. So I think I have worked a lot on the first 4 limbs. Extensively, especially on the first 2 ones, because I was very bad with them, especially with myself. The niyama, and the rest will come. And I think even if you take all your life, right, this is a practice that it's not about reaching a goal, it's about the path we are going through. And even doing my asanas, they are different every day, and so for me I love it.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're happy, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Blissful.
Yeah.
Ecstatic.
Yeah, you can say that.
That's the level of happiness now.
I've never been so poor and so happy before.
Wow,
I could say,
man.
After traveling so long.
It's poor means you don't have anything at the same time, and you have everything at the same moment again.
And there is no attachment anymore.
Yes.
If you want to see it from the Buddhist perspective.
You are and you are not.
Yes.
You have and you don't have.
Yeah.
You see and you don't see. Yes. You feel, again, you don't feel anything.
Yeah. And if you have a lot of stuff, you always tend to try to protect it, right? But if you don't have anything, you don't need to protect. You can just use what nature gives you or what other people give you, and everything is shared anyway. So yeah, it's beautiful.
We are exactly equal to the nature. I mean, five elements it always tells us, right?
Yes.
Earth, water, air, fire, space.
Space, ether, yeah.
Yes, everything, even in our body, we have 72% of the water, 12% earth, 6% we have air, and 6% again we have fire, and the 4% remaining the etheric space.
Ah.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, it's true. And in the universe also it's like that. In the world also it's 1/3 is water, and remaining is the earth, again the air, fire, space. So we are always connected. What we only think is we are different from that, but we are not. We are not different from, because everything is happening inside me.
Yeah, and
everything is damn. You are also happening inside me, man.
yes.
That's my consciousness.
Beautiful. And
there's nothing except you.
I want to add perhaps that it's a difference. I think in Nepal people are much more closer to nature still.
Yeah.
Much more bound to nature, which is very different if you go, for example, to Germany. And this is actually a problem because people are so much away from their instincts, from their gut feeling, from the emotions, with so much layers of, insurance and problem and all this madness. And they don't feel themselves anymore. And I think, going back to nature is very
They are so far away from themselves.
Yeah.
And see, this is a spiritual land, man.
I know. This is actually, to be honest, I mean, I came here because even people in India told me, go to Nepal if you want to learn more about yoga.
That's what.
It's beautiful. So
people of India, they always say it's Indian, but it's not. It's basically the core is Nepal, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the only thing is India is very big. We are very small.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe 22 times smaller. But the sense.
Yeah, I think so. It came down from the mountains.
We are the one. I'm not trying to make some draw the line in between, but we are the starting point, because Indian themselves told you go to Nepal, man.
Yeah.
Because this is a land where a lot of spiritual things started.
I'm exactly where I need to be right now.
Yes,
it's perfect.
yes. I'm very happy in personal and professional level, because you as a tourist, yes, is aid to the economy also.
Yes,
because
I don't see myself as a tourist actually. I mean, I've been traveling so long, and I always like to stay at a place for a little bit, for half a year or so, and to become part of the community a little bit.
You may think you're not a tourist, but when other people see you are a tourist.
Yes, of course.
Because white skin,
I know.
White skin, they obviously will. Even you try to hide, you cannot hide your skin, man.
I know, it's fine.
That's what. I'm just making a conversation here. Don't take it on a personal level, right?
No, that's totally good.
So I looked into your thing and that browser, and I saw sound healing. What is sound healing now?
Yes, so sound healing is a very nice addition to, let's say, yoga or meditation. It's you lay down comfortably, you close your eyes, and then we work with bowls, with sound bowls.
Singing bowls.
Singing bowls, they call it here.
Tibetan singing bowls.
Exactly, yes. They are from here, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have different sizes, they make different sounds, and then we place them all around the people, or even on the people's chest, for example, or stomach, and then we